guys? Our wrestling podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious along with Jess the Total Package, Craig the British Bulldog, the Nature Boy Joe, and Cuz is off this week, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Can someone feed me today's topic?
Royal Rumble 1996. Let's go right to it.
Yeah, for audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast, or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. Can you do us a solid on social media and give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook, Meta at Our Wrestling Podcast? Guys, let's just get right into it. Let me see what I can do here. We roll right into Tammy Lynn Sitch in a tub saying viewer discretion is advised. And this is kind of true.
Your indiscretion.
Your discretion is advised. Yeah, that's kind of where this goes. We get a nice little Bret Hart promo versus The Undertaker to start this out, and a Razor versus Goldust promo. And guess what? We are in Fresno, California, the Sun Arena. There was 96,000 fans. I'm sorry, 9,600 fans in attendance. I mean, that sounded really good for a second. And
sorry, a lot of fans packed into Fresno.
I don't have the buy rate here. I heard it was better than the Royal Rumble of the year before. And the catchphrase was, "You've been warned." Our announcers are Vincent Kennedy McMahon, as well as Mr. Perfect, which we'll definitely get into later. Our announcer, as always in these time periods, is Howard the Fink Finkel. Jess, who are WCW champions at this time?
Right now at this time, would you say January 21st, 96?
Yes, sir.
Ric Flair is the WCW heavyweight champion here. Interesting enough, the next night on Nitro, on the 22nd, he loses the title to Randy Savage.
Whoa.
The
Nacho Man?
You guys are going to love this. The United States champion is the one-man gang here. Don't ask. Do not ask.
That's not true. That's not
Yeah,
true.
don't ask.
How's that impossible?
Harlem Heat are the tag team champions here. However, the next night on Nitro, Sting and Luger defeat Harlem Heat to win the World Tag Team Championships. And the television champion here is Jonathan B. Badathan.
Hey, Johnny B. Bad.
Yes.
Ow.
That's the competition, the major competition.
So our
Can I say that I'm really excited to talk about Royal Rumble 96. I think it's one of the most exciting events that we've talked about to date.
I think it brings in the new generation. I think we're excited to talk about this Rumble and how the new generation can survive against WCW.
Someone's going to believe you, and I'm telling you guys, this was god awful.
All right, Dave, first match.
You shut your mouth, Dave.
Yeah, well, actually, the dark match. There was a dark match.
It's important.
Duke the Dumpster Droese.
And it makes me happy. Just listen to this. Sorry, go ahead,
and
Jess.
Triple H. So they had this was the first ever free-for-all match, which meaning if you didn't buy the pay-per-view yet and you turned it on the pay-per-view channel, you had a free-for-all match with they wetted your whistle with wetness. Mm-hmm. And so they would try to get you to buy the pay-per-view. So the free match was Triple H against, or he wasn't even Triple H, he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley here against Duke Droese. The winner of the match would be number 30. The loser would be number 1. And Triple H lost the match by DQ. If I'm not mistaken.
And I know that warms Craig's heart, but I don't know if that free-for-all gets me to buy the pay-per-view. I'm just saying.
No, it already gives me to an A+ for the event itself. So wherever we go from here, Duke the Dumpster going over Triple H.
Like in terms of kayfabe era, like that actually gives Triple H 45 minutes in the Rumble.
Don't anger Craig already, or don't.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
right, Dave. First match. Here we go.
The first match. Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm pushing you too hard.
Oh,
really quick.
Who are our champions?
Let's talk about how we all love, and by love I mean hate and want to vomit at the commentary team of Vince McMahon and Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, we would get into that for sure.
Actually, so whose bright idea was it when they constructed this arena to paint the upper deck, all the walls red, which in any other arena at this time means empty seats.
Yes.
So they actually, I think they had a decent crowd here. There was no empty seats from what I could see in the camera. But when you paint the upper walls red and the guardrails, it looks like all of it is empty in the upper deck. So every time they shot wide, I was like, it looks like empty seats, but it's not. Whose bright idea was it to paint it red?
Like, Fresno State Bulldogs, baby.
That's right.
I guess you're right. It might be a sports team.
It is. It's Fresno.
So why do you have it
terrible on camera? It's awful.
Why do you have an event in Fresno to begin with?
With those concourses, I kept looking up the entire paper saying those are empty seats, and then you take a second, like,
and it's not.
No, it's not. It's just a big stupid.
They were pretty much sold out here. It was just a small arena.
They said they were sold out at like what
9,500
or whatever.
They'll say that every time, regardless.
Well, of course, Joe.
Derek Carr was there.
That's what I heard.
The Diaz brothers were there.
Believe it. Hello. Ringling Brothers said it was cool.
Yeah, that's what I heard. And before we get into it, our World Wrestling Federation champion is Bret the Hitman Hart, right? Our tag team champions are the Smoking Guns, and our intercontinental champion is Razor Ramon. We'll get into
hell yeah.
Boo. Match number 1, Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, like all of them.
Versus Ahmed Johnson. I'm just going to jump right in. I don't understand this match at all. Why is Ahmed getting so much control in the early going? He's supposed to be the face here, and he's getting way too much work on his side. Even when his hand gets caught, the snare shot he takes, I'm like, is this asshat hulking up right now? Like, is that really happening? He's hulking up. Like, why? And then he does bear hugs and atomic drops. Oh my God.
Can I go first?
He does have a decent spine buster. Ahmed had no business going over the top rope. I thought he died when he did that. The stupid figure 4 reversal. This match is already too long. Double J gets DQ'd for using the guitar. I graded it at D. Craig, you go right now. You do this.
All right, because I want to put some positivity vibes out here.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Please do. I need some.
I'm going to get angry the entire time here.
I watched this match and I said I could see where Ahmed has some potential. His dive out of the ring was awkward, but he did it. He's a big dude that did it. He's athletic. He didn't try to overpower Jeff Jarrett. He's working with him.
He should have.
I didn't hate it, and I like Jeff Jarrett. I know Joe has strong feelings about Jeff Jarrett. I gave this in my notes, and I didn't read anything. I didn't study. I just kind of watched it as it kicked off as the opener. I like Jeff Jarrett. I gave it a B-.
Oh, wow.
Off the bat, and I said, I don't know why. I like the amount of hate that I give Ahmed. The amount of hate that I give Ahmed, I was like, you know what? You could see his potential here, and he's on his best behavior. B-. Feel free to destroy me.
Joe, just tell him.
That's one way to get rid of a guy. Play it again, Sam. Look at him. I can't believe what Double J just did. As a result of a disqualification, Ahmed Johnson. Yo, Tennessee two-step right on Ahmed's head.
You're going to learn today.
I don't even know where to fucking begin on that. Like, I'm just going to tell you, for one, I thought I was being generous. I thought I was being fucking generous by giving the match a D.
Just in the fact that, like, to win it.
Just in the fact that I was hoping to, like, make my way through it. First of all, I don't even know. Like, first of all, like, Ahmed Johnson is 100% completely awful. I get what they were trying to do. I get what they were trying to do back in the day. Like, big, impressive dude. Let's push him. And then you realize he can't speak, can't wrestle, can't talk, can't do jack shit. We're gonna put him with Jeff Jarrett, who, as we've talked about before, is a great seller. That guy can sell to anybody. But Jeff Jarrett, me personally, I never quite understood the gimmick. Like, I understood the gimmick. I never understood the fascination. He just is a generic, cheap, honky tonk, fucking ripoff, man. Like, he just, like, I love the strut. I love the JARRETT. I love that
too.
But like the blonde hair, the fucking stripe, the outfit that he wears in the ring. Like, first of all, I don't even know how you get that on.
We talked about that at great length. How do you get it on? How did it not break?
Craig talked about that.
Like, how do you even get that
on?
It's
in our archives.
Just everything about him bothers me. Everything about him bothers me, Jeff Jarrett. Like the fact that he's only probably in the position that he's in because his daddy was a promoter. I mean, he does have talent, but that blonde hair without any other gimmick just is annoying. That on top of Ahmed Johnson being absolutely atrocious is, I felt like I was giving a D as a
courtesy,
gift,
charity,
as a gift and a courtesy.
There you go.
I'm gonna stop there.
All right.
Jesse.
Sorry.
So Craig and Joe are right at the same time about Ahmed, because this is about 5 months before they actually put the IC title on Ahmed.
Wow.
So there was a lot of interest in Ahmed to become like a big star. They really, when he debuted in 95, they were just going that way. Vince is always like, big guys. He's not very talented. We'll teach him, pal.
We'll figure it out.
And he was always like that. So you guys are both right at the same time about Ahmed. About Jarrett, I think Jarrett's a great worker, not just a great seller. I think he's way better than the people we compare him to, which are Lawler and Honky, because it's a Memphis star. However, I don't think Jarrett really found his stride until 98 when he became Slapnuts Jarrett, and he cut his hair short and he did the whole thing. I think, at this point, Joe's right. The gimmick is a direct ripoff of Honky Tonk Man. It's so, you can't deny it. It just is. It's that way.
And he's ripping off Flair's shred.
However,
as
far as this match is concerned, I attribute Jarrett to being a great worker because he had to tame this fucking wild stallion, which is fucking Ahmed Johnson, who's not safe, who's very like jerky and crazy in there. I give Jarrett a lot of credit. I gave it a C because it wasn't a great match. It wasn't good, but I was nervous the entire time for Jarrett because I was like, this guy is dangerous. I don't know what he's going to fucking do.
This gets weird too. The Body Donnas, match number 2 with Sonny versus the Smoking Guns for the WWF Tag Team titles. One thing I'll tell you, I love the splash where Bart pulls the rope down. To me, that got more realistic than the bullshit that Ahmed did earlier. I guess I'm just directly comparing. But yeah, pull the rope down so a big man can get over the top and splash the Body Donnas. That was really cool. Sonny is running a ton of distraction here because the match is not good. Overall, you can see the Donnas taking control as heels. Bart's always the hot tag. It's plainly predictable, and I give it a C+ because the finish was just all over the place. It was messy. It looked like the Donnas had won the titles. Maybe that was deliberate, but it looked really bad. It wasn't like, oh, he almost got him. They actually thought he did, but it wasn't because they wanted you to. It was messy. The whole thing was bad. And I might be generous with a C+, but that's where I put it. But the Smoking Guns do retain the titles here, if I'm not mistaken, but it doesn't matter because the match is not very good.
I'm going to give the match 2 grades.
Uh-oh. Based on?
Yeah.
Here we go.
On first grade, I'm going to give the match a 100% a D-. Based on actual wrestling within the match.
Just work, right? Just work.
Yeah, like the Body Donnas. I'm sorry, like I know that there is a lot of people out there that love Chris Candido and love his work.
This is not his best work though.
But the Smoking Guns versus Chris Candido and Tom Pritchard looks like 2 giants versus 2 midgets.
Victorious if this continues. Now, come on, round double team effort. Come on, get in there. Wait a minute. Take a run down. Good cover. 1, 2. Yeah. Come on, round that team. For this one, and still, television tag team champions, the Smoking Guns. Sonny can't believe what
I gave it a C.
What?
A regular
Get
old
outta
C.
Here.
I always liked the Body Donnas. I have an affinity for. I mean, Tom Pritchard, the amount of talent that dude's produced, and I'm not saying that's why I'm giving him a C or that he should get any like leeway in grading. But I liked the Body Donnas. They didn't mesh very well, but Smoking Guns look great. Billy Gunn, you forget this is 96, so he's been wrestling 26 years. My gosh, that dude.
What?
If and I don't know. I didn't hate it. It wasn't great. The event's not great. No match, but I'm trying to say that I didn't hate this, and I'll give it a C. It only got worse after. Actually, no, it didn't get worse after this, but I gave it a C. That's my opinions.
To my D,
11 minutes. It was 11 minutes and 40 seconds, and that's too long.
That's fair.
Yeah.
For what? Dave's gonna laugh. They tried hard. Like honestly, I've always the guns are underrated. Smoking Guns were good.
They are. Yeah, for sure.
And poor Candido. I just think that every time I see him,
man, get over it.
Because what Sonny did to him, poor Candido.
Whatever.
What happened? Wasn't she a loyal wife? They're still together.
Yeah,
right?
she was loyal.
Jesus,
the Guns retain the title.
Sure.
The Guns retain the titles. I give it a C.
It gets into it. So, what I'll say about the match coming into it, even the expressions that Goldust is doing before the match starts shows total dedication to the character. And I have to explain. I did go to the bathroom here, but sorry guys, I missed a piece of it, so that's in my notes. But Razor's offense gets really good. The choke slam is really, really well done. The fall away slam, Razor, when he gets into this segment piece that he does, it's always great. He does the suplex from the second rope. Marlena does some interference. The 1-2-3 kid helps out with that interference, so he totally gets a schmoz where he shouldn't have lost the title, but he did. So in that interference schmoz, Goldust wins the title. From the pieces I saw, this was a B-. I enjoyed the work here, but I also enjoyed the backstory that we all know about that Razor, in my opinion, did not want to work with Goldust in this character work because of what the character of Goldust was. We've heard tons of stories on this. Anybody can elaborate beyond that, but all of that bubbling up behind you from me watching this match made it even better from the parts that I saw. And I really thought that Razor was leaving really soon, but Jess said it was about 3 months later to his contract ending and moving on.
He was actually, so I will jump in here. He was actually suspended before his contract went up. And where Nash got to finish out, Nash finished out his contract and didn't leave until after May, because Nash was in the famous match with Michaels where he pulled off Mad Dog Vachon's leg and tried to hit him with it. And in the May in Your House.
Yeah.
But Hall was suspended here. I think he failed the drug test. I could be wrong, but he failed the drug test. So Hall was taken off the road, I think, right after the curtain call. So he could not finish his contract out, whereas Nash finished it out on pay-per-view all the way through May.
Okay, got it.
Just to jump in.
No, it's good for the timeline. Yeah. But I gave it a B-. This is my best match of the night, to be honest with you. On grade.
Yes. I will jump in there. So I thought 14 minutes was almost too long.
That's why I went to the bathroom.
However, the Goldust character was way ahead of its time, and you can't. I'm not going to get into that on a review.
No, Jess and I have talked about that over and over. Ahead of his time, big time.
Yeah. Ramon was not into it. You could tell because he knew he was going to lose because he's a bitch back here. Hall was. He was. Just stop. Like it's people true. Who try to defend Hall. Fuck. He was a bitch here. I don't dispute him not understanding the character 100% because it was ahead of its time. So, you got a guy who's probably negotiating with WCW at this point, Hall, and we don't know it yet. And he doesn't understand the feud. So, and doesn't get the storyline. So I don't shit on Hall completely for that. But however, if you're looking about this, and Goldust wins the IC title by here, by the way, which is notable.
Yep.
I thought this was a really, if you're just talking about match wise, this was a good match. These guys went in there. They worked really hard. You take out the fact that the crowd was super quiet because they didn't even know how to handle Goldust at this time. It was a good match. I gave it, Dave, it's weird, I gave it a B+. That's
what it's all about. The WWF Intercontinental title, ladies and gentlemen, at the Royal Rumble. Razor, he's paying a lot of attention to the usher out there. He better just worry about Goldust. This guy's 6'6", 260 pounds, man, and can wrestle. No question about it. Two superb athletes, although, again, there you see Goldust with these machinations.
Okay. Again, we're keeping everything in context of this pay-per-view because overall we didn't like it. However, I gave it a B+. These guys were working really hard. There were some spots in this match where I was like, they're really wrestling well together because Goldust, Dustin Runnels is a great talented wrestler for a big guy, and so is Hall. And they did really good stuff together. So I give it a B+. I thought it was a good match. However, the crowd was dead because they just didn't know what to fucking do with it. And then Hall was putting no energy into his character, by the way, because he didn't understand it. He didn't understand it, and he probably knew at this point he wanted to leave. If he hadn't already decided in his mind that he was going to leave anyway. So go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
I'm real close on everything that you just said. One, Hall had 1 foot out the door.
Yeah.
He had 1 foot out the door, and he's like, fuck it, like I'm leaving. I mean, obviously that's why they're taking the title off of him. Like, what are they supposed to do with Goldust? Depending on who you talk to, like whatever. Like,
it was a whatever a lot.
Yeah, it was a little bit of whatever. Like
just put him in there, see what happens.
But like, oops. I think Goldust was a very interesting character. I think like Dustin Reynolds did an amazing job with.
It's total commitment to the role.
The word you just used there, Dave, was spot on. It's this commitment. Dustin Reynolds committed to this character. Like, it was an awkward character.
Yeah.
For anybody. I don't care if you're Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair or Steve Austin or Dwayne Johnson. You have to commit to this character. It's awkward. I give it a C+.
Okay. I'm with you.
That's probably way more fair.
Yeah. When you talk about not selling the character and everything with it, the movement was well done. It's just you can tell Razor's not into it. So I think it's fair. Craig, what do you got, buddy?
I give it a B-. I never really put together the fact that Razor wasn't really in it until I heard you guys kind of give your analysis of it, and that makes total sense. I knew that he wasn't comfortable with the angle itself, but there was an intensity during the match the entire time, and it was very slow going and a slow roll in the beginning and a slow build, which I still bought, and Razor was still, it seemed like he was into. But I think knowing that it was Dustin's night, he was giving 100 and Razor was probably about 75%.
Sure. It was a double whammy, right? He was losing the title and he didn't get the gimmick or agree with the Goldust gimmick. So
yeah.
And he might have been leaving, so it was a triple whammy.
Yes. So and he was probably also he wasn't in his best shape at this point. Yeah. But even despite that, they put on a good match.
Yeah. Good work on that.
At least psychology and story wise, I don't think there was a like they even missed some like head scissors and leg scissors early on in the match together, which I was like, yikes, which the two of them should have never kind of done.
Almost too big for that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but like it was still great. The story ended, and then it was a bit of a 1, 2, 3 kid with a kick at the end, and Goldust getting it. And then we haven't even talked about Goldust wins the belt, and we haven't even talked about this was the first appearance, if I'm not mistaken, of Marlena, and then
you're
I don't
correct,
even
yeah.
I don't even
that's right.
I don't even know that like Usher dude that looked like a monkey.
Never made it back.
I don't. He was in the promo, and I don't know what his role was, but like that was a thing which they were teasing. They didn't even know her name at that point, which I guess they were going to say the next night on Raw.
Yeah.
So that whole thing,
like,
and then
this lady, we don't know who she is the entire time. Yeah.
Who is she?
Tell you tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's Alexandra York.
Well,
she's a what a maneuver. She's
and then. I mentioned this, and I'll just say it briefly. We were talking before the podcast, but like, so I always wondered why someone, if someone's ever asked Dustin Rhodes what it was like to be in that gimmick and live in that gimmick, because in 1996, to hear like individual members of the crowd chant the horrible things at him and drop F-bombs at him, and hear chants of that, like whether he has sympathy playing in that character as someone in a LGBTQ or like queer androgynous role, and hear that abuse from like, I wonder what his thoughts was. Because in 1996,
that's a great
I'll say different time, different world, but even just watching and reading lips there in Fresno in 96, watching this.
Yeah, they were chanting.
My God.
Stuff.
Yeah, but that's but Craig, that's a great point to bring up, and a great thank you for bringing that up. Like it's a huge deal.
Moving on, we have fake doctors, ladies and gentlemen, talking about Shawn Michaels and his ability to get back in the ring. I wouldn't recommend him against 29 other people, but he's ready to wrestle. Okay, fake doctor, thank you for your
quick backstory too. This was the tail end of in '95. He was in real life beat up by some Marines. And Jess, the story cares. Is foggy or whatever.
Nobody.
He had to. Well, this leads into the whole thing. Like, I don't care. You're correct. You're correct on that. That I don't care. But you're really correct on that. But at the end of '95, Shawn Michaels had to submit or forfeit the IC title because he, in real life, went out to a bar, pissed off some Marines. It could be anywhere from 3 to 175 Marines,
depending on the story you hear.
Yeah, depending on the story. And he was actually out of wrestling for a couple months. Then he came back, and then he, in the storyline, he faced Owen Hart, who gave him a kick in the back of his head, and he passed out on Monday Night Raw. So he was out for a while, and then he was cleared right before the Royal Rumble to enter the Royal Rumble here. So the drama.
So did the Marines steal his smile though?
No,
did they take it
from
him?
I don't think he's lost his smile yet here.
It's not yet. Well, I say yes, but he didn't realize it until a year later when he had to realize he had to re-lose.
Well, that's fair.
Hart.
Oh,
and we
so the Marines didn't kick his smile out of his head. Okay,
how they're going to
win. They took it, but he did not know it was missing for at least a year or so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Kind of like a weatherman's mustache.
Royal Rumble, if he gets in there with me, sorry, business is business, friends are friends, and I want my belt back too. But I wish him all the luck in the world. He's my best friend. Shawn, I think it's too soon, Chico. You got a lot of lumps on that head of yours. Hey, I put some of them there. But I know this, if the Heartbreak Kid is in that Royal Rumble, he'll win it.
You know, and I know deep down inside, Shawn, you're hurting. I hurt you bad, Shawn. You're not ready for this Royal Rumble. And when you step in the ring with 29 other guys, believe me, you're a marked man. And I'm the first man that's going to get my hands on you. I'll make sure that you never wrestle again.
Shawn. But other wrestlers also talk about winning the Royal Rumble. They didn't win it though. So interesting enough.
I mean, Barry Horowitz. I was good to see Barry Horowitz go at a promo, by the way.
My wife was like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "I don't know." It's Barry Horowitz.
You knew who that was?
Yeah. No, I didn't. No,
you had.
He looked different.
Dave.
That's what I'd say.
Jess has to cut
I don't know how far Jess wants to take this into the Rumble. If you want to talk about the entrance and exits, you can. Because I did not give a crap because I watched the first 6 entrances. And I was really upset, Jess. I was really mad at you that we were watching this right now.
Grade and talk about the match right now, please.
You do that. I didn't grade it. I was too upset about it. I'm really mad here. The first 6 entrants. That's all you need to know. Why don't you list them?
You did not give a grade.
I'll give it an F. How about that? That's an F.
That sounds good. That's about right. I'll jump in. I'll give the Rumble a D. Because I don't know an F to compare it to. But here's what I will say. Dave's point about no one got eliminated until probably the 8th, 9th, 10th guy. And they were all kind of lackluster.
There was nobody of any significance.
There was no planning. There was a slop story with Godwin, which was the highlight of the first half an hour, 25 minutes.
Garbage.
I made a joke earlier when we were talking before we started filming. It's like, what happened to Patterson here? Where is he?
Right.
Where's the planning? Where's like the little individual stories and bits? They had Eddie Gilbert's brother from USWA who got destroyed. They had Inami from All Japan.
What are you doing?
They had Dory Funk. They ruined Vader's debut in the Rumble by not having.
They have an extremely overweight and underutilized as far as cardio Yokozuna in here. I can't even.
Yeah, they didn't have Vader eliminate anyone like right off the bat.
Until he was
when he
walked in.
They should have had Vader like eliminate like fucking 15 people. Just bam, bam.
Yeah,
bam,
but
bam, bam.
no. That's the thing. They could have done that. He got eliminated. Then he eliminated like 10 people, and they all walked back in the freaking Rumble. That's not how it works.
There's 1,000 different things that went wrong. You had Mabel in this Rumble. You had Yokozuna in this Rumble. You had Vader in the. I might have just repeated Vader. Yokozuna, Vader, and Mabel.
I'm so angry.
There was a lot of stories to tell, and at the end of the day, Sean gets it. Sean Diesel, I believe it's not Ultimate, Superior Fighting Machine, and Diesel.
Sean
wins it for the second year in a row, and it's just such a supreme disappointment. And maybe it's just from watching. They've so finely tuned the Rumble in the last 10 years of how to tell stories and split it into different bits. Maybe I'm just not used to the way it was kind of booked back here, but I don't think that's the case, and I think this was terrible.
Craig,
yes.
You do realize the 1992 Royal Rumble was considered
only
one of the best Royal Rumbles ever, and this was
4 years before.
You know that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So they figured out the formula. You're right in just saying it's a bad match. Stop making excuses for Pat Patterson and all those fucking guys.
Yeah.
Because this was a bad match.
100%.
It's so awful.
So I'm gonna, for time, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read every entrant or whatever. Joe, what's your grade on the Royal Rumble?
Fucking awful, man. Like, awful from fucking start to finish, Joe. Like that's all I can say. Like,
what's your grade?
What'd you grade it?
What's your grade?
Awful.
Like
a
F
W F U L.
Craig, did you give a grade, Craig?
I gave it D.
I said F.
Craig, what was you, Dave? You said F. Okay. So I gave it a D minus. So I'm gonna read.
I mean, so we all gave it the same grade.
Yeah. Let me give it the entrance here. Number 1, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He lasted 48 minutes and 4 seconds. Henry O'Godwin.
Good for him.
Bob Backlund. Jerry Lawler. Bob Holly.
Wow.
King Mabel. Jake Roberts.
An old Jake
Dory Funk Jr.
Jesus. Dory Funk. Was it Dory Funk or Dory Funk Jr.? That was never clear.
It was Dory Funk
because
Jr.
he looked real old.
He was so old.
Could have been from the grave.
So 8 is Dory Funk Jr., 9 Yokozuna, 10 1-2-3 Kid, 11 Tonko fucking whatever. Number 12 Savio Vega, 13 was Vader, 14 was Doug Gilbert, 15 was Squat Team Leader.
Who the fuck?
Yeah.
16 was Squat Team Leader 2.
Yep.
17 was Owen Hart. 18 was Shawn Michaels, the Lord and Savior. 19 was Hakushi. 20 was Tatanka. 21 was Aldo Montoya. 22 was Diesel. 23 was Kama. 24 was the ringmaster Steve Austin.
Yay, we forgot about that.
No,
good job, Steve.
25 was Barry Horowitz. 26 was Fatu.
Barry Horowitz.
27 was Isaac Yankum, also known as Kane.
Yep.
28 was Marty Jannetty. 29 was the British Bulldog. And number 30, like we discussed earlier, was Duke the Dumpster.
I got an idea. Let's give Duke the Dumpster 30.
Shawn Michaels wins the Royal Rumble.
Fuck yeah.
He goes on to challenge the world champion at WrestleMania.
Fuck yeah.
It's going to be Diesel. No doubt about it. It's Diesel. It's Michaels. It's now. I can't believe it. 2 years in a row. That's impossible, McMahon. Impossible. Shawn Michaels is going to WrestleMania. How does he do that? Shawn Michaels going to WrestleMania.
two guys that defined the heel runs for WCW and WWF in '93 should have faced off with each other because that's what you were trying to do. All by themselves, the camera's only on them. Everyone is like, oh my God, Vader is facing off with Yokozuna finally. They threw everyone outside the ring like Hogan and Warrior did, right?
Yeah.
Before Hogan and Warrior faced off. They threw everyone in the ring
Yoko
outside,
could have done a
and then
Yoko,
they turned around.
the Yoko foot slam. Vader could have been like, it's Vader time. They could have had that whole segment, pump the crowd up.
Everything.
Yeah.
They could have had the 3 minutes before the next, or 2 minutes or whatever, or a minute 90, whatever, before the next person came out. You have that face off with Vader and Yoko to debut Vader. And then to remind you that Yoko is his equal.
You're assuming.
And, oh my God.
You're assuming a lot of shit there.
I'm assuming that Patterson was dead or not talking or something, or going to the bathroom or something, because Patterson,
he would have seen that immediately, right?
Yeah, you would have stopped all the action. Time should have stopped because you hyped Vader for weeks up into this Royal Rumble. You need to bring Vader in and make him a deal. So and then you have Yoko, who you're gonna put against Vader.
So what happens when you don't?
That was the plan.
So what happens when you don't?
That's why. So the whole time that they're doing this,
but
so what actually happened in this Rumble is everybody's in there, and you see Vader and Yoko kind of punching each other in the background, and no one's being dominant, no one's doing anything. Then Michaels comes in, Vader presses him behind Dave's head, throws him out over the top rope, which every Rumble before, even if a non-legal guy throws a guy over the top rope, it still counts. But for some reason on this Rumble,
in this Rumble.
For some reason on this Rumble, it doesn't count. So Vader throws Michael. Why make Vader press Michaels over and deliberately throw it? He threw Owen out through the middle. Those are deliberate moves. Those are deliberate. Does that make any sense what I'm saying? Those are deliberate moves. So why press Michaels? Dude. Why not throw Michaels out through the middle and throw Owen over the top?
I agree. Throw Michaels out through the fucking over the top.
Well, that's fine if Michaels is going to be gone, but why do that?
He wasn't
in other words,
gone. They all walked back in.
What Craig was saying, this for some odd reason, Joe is right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Joe is right that 94 and 95 were questionable, but this one is even weird. This seems like Pat Patterson was actually taking a sick day or a PTO day or whatever you want to say. This did not have Pat Patterson fingerprints on it. The botching of Vader's debut and his face off with Yoko, to me, is enough to give this fucking thing an F. Just go.
Yeah.
Just go
Undertaker versus Brett for the WWF title. Diesel's confronting Taker on the way out to set up matches later on. You got to see that coming. The mask absolutely sucks. I hate it. Undertaker didn't
it's because Undertaker took
of the fucking Phantom of the Opera.
No, Undertaker had a parasailing accident and took 2 knees to the face.
Shut the fuck up! What are you doing right now?
No, that's what happened. And so he had to wear.
So dumb.
He was also.
By the way, he was wearing the mask because
for his whole life.
He was wearing the mask, by the way, because King Mabel is a fucking buffoon and actually broke Undertaker's orbital bone in '95.
So that was legit. It was a legit protective.
Yes,
then I'll accept that. But what I won't accept is
I don't care if it's a fucking legit or not. Like the mask is fucking stupid.
It's
shit.
Stupid.
Yes, Dave, go on.
I won't accept.
Am I wrong?
What I want to.
Am I wrong?
This is the hardest thing for me. We talk about how great Bret Hart is, especially in retrospect, 20, 30 years later, watching matches. And giving him high grades on the majority of his matches, Joe. But I simply can't do it here. Jess, give me a time on this match. How long was it?
Oh, it was 25 minutes.
It was 28 minutes and 31 seconds.
It shouldn't have gone past 12. I mean, it's so bad. It's so slow and it's so hard to watch. I'll be straight with you. I couldn't even give myself an opportunity to grade it because I was just so. I'm like, am I the asshole here? Because this is Bret Hart.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair, but because of this.
You are an asshole in general, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are the asshole.
That's very true.
I don't know what you're asking.
What I'm saying is like,
I mean, if
I'm
you
like,
want to ask that
match...
question, like 100%, you are the asshole.
Yeah. God. Okay, we've made that very clear. We'll move forward.
I don't know if anybody said this.
No, I don't think we can move on.
All three of us just said it.
Like, I'd like to like.
This is slow.
Make this.
It's too
relevant.
What is he doing? What are you doing?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm totally missing the inside joke. I'm so sorry.
Never mind.
But you're an asshole. Everybody knows that.
Well, I am an asshole.
Exactly.
It's very clear. God, we've gone on 2 minutes of how I'm an asshole. Okay. It was slow. It was incredibly long. So slow and long is just a bad combination. And I mean, the ending's quite fine, but I don't know.
What?
No, I'm trying, Jess. The ending's fine.
You were the one that bitches on every review when anything on pay-per-view ends in a count out or disqualification relates to a title match.
I'm telling you, Jess, I'm trying to find solace in something and I can't find it. So
that's the hill asshole. You're gonna die on. That's the hill you're gonna die on.
No, not at all. I'm not gonna. No, he didn't.
He's not. Dying.
I'll let you correct me.
He didn't finish it. I'm telling you, Dave Butterfield. Sorry.
What?
Cut that. He didn't finish the match.
No, I did. I finished the match. What I'm trying to tell you is like, I know it's a DQ. I can't even. I seriously thought it was me the entire time. I second guessed myself in these moments.
No, it was terrible.
What's your grade?
Give it an F.
I'll give it on the fly. I'll give it a D right now. I'll give it a D.
At the conclusion of this matchup, perhaps not, but we may know. Coming off in. Oh no! Here it comes! Over McMahon. Forget it! His man out. Unbelievable! Just like that. Where did he pull that out? The official sliding down for the count. One. Wait a minute. Diesel pulled the referee out. Wait a minute. Diesel just pulled the official out of the ring. And the official is over at the ring table explaining to... Wait a minute. The Undertaker...
Ladies and gentlemen, Bret Hitman Hart has been disqualified as a result of outside interference by...
Sweet. I'll go real quick. I'll give it an F. It was a terrible end to a terrible event. It was just slow.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks for this golden nugget of work that you had us do this week.
And then this match ended in a DQ, and I'm going to give a Bret Hart match a goddamn F because I was like, why is this happening? Like, why is this even happening? So this match was an awful match. It was boring. It made me sleep. And then, Dave, I'm going to cut you off because we're running long for time. So then they decided to use the last 10 or 15 minutes of this goddamn fucking pay-per-view to be an infomercial for In Your House, which is next month. They had 15 minutes of interviews.
Wait, what?
Nash mixed up the joke. So they're trying to do a four-way thing where Shawn wins the Royal Rumble, Bret's the champion, Undertaker wants a title shot, and then Diesel does. So Diesel loses the Rumble, and he's the number one contender, even though Shawn Michaels won the match, which makes him number one contender. But that's fine. They're just trying to get to In Your House in February.
And then...
somehow Diesel. So these are all backstage interviews after the Bret Hart match, by the way.
And Gorilla just keeps on talking. It keeps on.
Yeah, they're ending a pay-per-view with interview after interview. So Diesel losing the world title in November and then losing the Royal Rumble in January. He's somehow number one contender to Bret Hart's world title in February, which makes no sense. And then they end the pay-per-view with this madness. And Diesel fucks up his joke. His joke was, I'm not afraid of the Undertaker. My mom, when I was a kid, to punish me, used to take me to the darkest spot of the basement. And then she would turn on a light. I'm not afraid of the dark, and I'm not afraid of the Undertaker. The joke was supposed to be, my mom took me to the darkest part of the basement and turns off the light because she thought I was afraid of the dark. But stupid Nash says, turn on the light. He can't even get the joke right here. I think it was Joe's point earlier or someone's point earlier where Nash was not comfortable with being the...
Yeah, I said he was green.
Yeah, it was you. So like, yeah, it's crazy. It just further proves that point. And then they end the pay-per-view like that. I'm like, what just happened? They Tuesday night in Texas, Survivor Series 1991, which is what they did with Survivor Series 1991. They used Survivor Series 91 to make you want to buy Tuesday night in Texas. Like they used the Royal Rumble, which is one of the WWF's top 3 pay-per-views of the year, top 2 arguably, to sell it in your house.
In your house.
It makes no sense. This pay-per-view made no sense. It was bad overall.
Okay, rapid fire. Joe,
nothing.
Total grade.
Awful.
F. Okay, yes. Craters.
B+.
There you go. Jess.
What? Get the fuck out of here.
You don't get to correct it, Jess.
A D-.
It's an F. You guys all are ridiculous. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast. Or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. Give it a negative
Watch it
F,
again.
Joe.
It's
give
great.
It a negative 1,000 F. On social media, give us a solid and give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter at O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook Meta at Our Wrestling Podcast. Joe gives it 1,000 negative Fs. For Joe, Jess, Craig, and myself, this is the O.W.P signing off. Have a good one.